lone wolf. Well, I've news for you. Formula One is a team sport. It always was.
F1 was probably my favorite movie-going experience of the year. Now people are going to be able to watch it at home. Joe, why was it important for you to shoot everything practical for F1?
I think the audience appreciates it when it's done for real. You know, obviously we have all these incredible tools available to us today, but there's nothing like capturing something completely in camera, especially when it comes to a sport like Formula One. Brad and Daniell, as you know, trained to drive these cars. We shot on real tracks during real Grand Prix weekends, and you just can't fake that. There's something about practical real photography that just makes it feel more real, makes the story resonate more. I think I learned that on Top Gun Maverick, and so we applied that here as well. And honestly, it's just more fun to shoot it for real. I mean, you know, I do this because I love filmmaking, and being able to travel around the world, following this sport, going to all these different tracks. It was an experience I'll never forget, and hopefully, you know, I think audiences appreciate that when they watch the film.
You know, I watched F1 a couple times in the theater. I was blown away every single time. Mr. Kosinski, what was the trickiest sequence for you to pull off?
They were all challenging, but I think the one that I go back to is probably Las Vegas. It's a track that only exists for a few nights out of the year, so Brad and Daniell were not able to train or practice on it before the shoot. They gave us one 15-minute slot in the middle of the night to shoot our sequence. It was freezing cold, the tires had no grip, there's no runoff area, so if you mix up, you know, in the corner, you end up going into a wall, so it was very dangerous. And Brad and Daniell had to pull off one of the most intense scenes of the film, and they did it. You know, everything worked. The whole cast and crew came together, the technology we developed worked, and we were able to pull off a very important scene in a very tight time constraint and do it safely. So that's the one, I think, where I was really holding my breath the whole time we were shooting it.
There's this new guy. He's old. He's such a prick. He's quick though.
If you had any constructive criticism for each other, what would it be?
Don't be such an ass.
dickhead. That was constructive.
Wow.
Yo, what was it like for you to watch F1 with an audience, just a movie-going audience, and experience that thrill with strangers in a crowd?
It's a really important learning process for a director. It's an important part of the process of post. You know, we do test screenings, and I was testing this movie only about 6 weeks after finished shooting it in Abu Dhabi last December. So it was the first moment where I saw, you know, that the film was working and was resonating, even though it was not quite finished. But it was, you know, very encouraging part of the process. And then, yeah, obviously the premieres were unforgettable, you know, and watching it with real F1 drivers, it was pretty nerve-wracking. But again, their response, you know, made me realize that all the hard work paid off.
You know, as soon as F1 ended, I thought, geez, I hope I get another chapter of this story. And I know you've already talked about the possibility of sequels, including an idea that I read where you said maybe it could cross over with Days of Thunder. I don't know if that was just in jest or not.
That was a dream. Yeah, that was a dream. Yeah, it's two different studios, unfortunately. Yeah, we're in that dreaming stage, you know, thinking about what is the next chapter for Sonny Hayes? What is that next dragon that he wants to slay? And we've got some really fun ideas about what that could be and how he intersects with the Apex GP team. So we're just in the early stages now. Obviously, it takes years to make these ideas come to life, but we're having fun now, just kind of dreaming that out.
And what about Top Gun 3? Another one that I was just blown away with by that ending.
Yeah, Top Gun, same thing. Aaron Kruger, who is the screenwriter on F1 and one of the screenwriters on Top Gun Maverick, is over his laptop as we speak, typing away a very ambitious idea. So that's another one that's, you know, in the hopper and we're working on.
Some people look at Sonny Hayes. They see a guy who lives in a van, a gambling junkie who missed his shot, the best that never was. But I see
Possibility